welcome back to the Citizen channel. Hope you're all staying safe and well. So we've got a preview today of the match day 3 of the 22-23 season. City versus Newcastle, or at Newcastle, Newcastle versus City. Let's be precise about this. At St James's Park on the 21st of August 2022, 4:30 p.m. kickoff. It's on Sky if you're not getting down to the game, so at least it's on telly, which is obviously we some 3 o'clock kickoffs, haven't we? At the end of last season, there was a few. If I remember rightly, there was 2 or 3, and we've already had one this season, haven't we? Anyway, let's get on with this game. Just quickly before we analyse or try and analyse what's going to happen, the match odds. All these prices are at the 17th of August 2022. Please, I don't condone gambling, and when the funds stop. Yeah, a City win, 4-11 on. Not the shortest of odds for a City win. A draw is 17-4, and a Newcastle win, again, not the longest odds either. So, bookies are sort of fancy Newcastle might spring a surprise here. Still 8-1 though, 8-1 with Bet365. So how are they? What's Eddie Howe doing? How's he doing at Newcastle? Well, yeah, I mean, I'm recording this on the Friday before the game, and I've found the transfer window just a little underwhelming for Newcastle. They've obviously got certain constraints and certain not problems, but I mean, it's not as easy, is it? It's not just a matter of splashing the cash. Of course, it's not. You've got to find the right players as well. Eddie Howe's obviously only had a few months in charge. And I think the fans will still be patient, although I think the fans perhaps expected a little bit more, reading between the lines when you watch the stuff from Newcastle fans, etc. But I think this is just a sign of the world we live in at the moment, and Newcastle has to take things into account. Confirmed comings were Matt Targett, of course, from Villa. He was about 15 million, not much. Nick Pope seems to be the buy of the season at the moment, from Burnley, 10 million, and Sven Botman from Lille, and that was the most expensive at 35 million. As I say, it's Nick Pope who's getting the plaudits at the moment, certainly, and that we'll talk about the last game in a minute. There's no one of significance left the club. Obviously, there's 1 or 2 rumours of players being poached by Real Madrid, etc. As I record this, but nothing drastic. Oh, I might miss the sight of the handsome Dwight Gale in the old barcode colours. That's for sure. I sort of miss him. I got sort of used to him being in the team. And yeah, rumours around Jack Harrison from Leeds, who I'm not overly impressed with anyway. I don't particularly rate Jack Harrison. And Pulisic from Chelsea is the latest, because I think Eddie Howe definitely wants recruits up front, doesn't he? He's one of the guys on the radar. And of course, Pedro is another one, a good shout from Watford, who I believe Pedro wants Premier League football, so that might be a matter of spending the right money. But again, all rumours and thoughts. And of course, the Newcastle squad for me this season, even with those purchases I've mentioned, it's not vastly superior to last season. They didn't do too bad. They finished the season pretty well, but certainly not top 6 for me. Howe said in his pre-match conference that he's still working hard behind the scenes to try and make something happen, but no news imminently on transfers in or out, as it matters. Obviously, they don't want to lose anything. They're trying to build something, aren't they? Injury-wise, I think how Eddie Howe said Ryan Fraser is hopefully fit for this one. He had a back spasm, so was unavailable last week, and against Brighton, which we'll talk about in a sec. And Matt Targett, one of the recent purchases, he could be a late decision as well. So they want to play him, but that could be a late fitness test or something like that. Or they do those now on the pitch before the game? I'm sure they do. Form-wise, they sit 5th. It's only 2 games, isn't it? And I think they'll be happy with that by the end of the season. I think certainly with how things are at this point in time, without any further transfers in. But I think it will be tough to hang on to a top 5 position. I think they'll finish a little bit lower than that. Not a lot lower, but a little bit lower. The 2-0 opening day win over Forest at St James was a good start and played very, very well. Not Forest on the back foot most of the game. But then they went to Brighton, who like to play football, as we know. They're a good footballing team. Brighton Potter's got a good tune out of that team, in all fairness, and they caused them lots of problems on match day 2. caused Newcastle lots of problems on match day too. Yeah, they had to even come up with a fourth kit, guys. Yeah, they could, because of the colour clashes. None of the three, they couldn't even wear any of the three kits, Newcastle. So they had to come up with a unique fourth kit. I don't think it's going to be out there for people to buy, but obviously they had to come up with a fourth one just for this game. But credit Newcastle, they took a point. As I say, they were backs to the wall most of this game, in the same way Forest were against Newcastle the previous week. And it was mainly thanks to a superb display by Pope that kept a rampant Brighton out, and really Brighton thoroughly deserved to win that, but they didn't. It was 0-0. So there it is. That's how it is. And of course, Howe, I think, will be delighted if he can get anywhere near that with this City match. I think they'll be cock-a-hoop with a draw. Who knows with a win? I mean, I think Newcastle will be closed for the night, won't it? But it will be a little bit of a shock at the moment, based on that current Newcastle squad, that current Newcastle team, against what looks like a pretty settling in very quickly City squad in general. With one player's not quite doing it, someone else is stepping up at the moment, and that's all we can ask. Which brings us to City, doesn't it? Anything interesting from the pre-embargo press conference? Well, yeah, Palmer and Phillips are back in training, so that's okay. I did see Phillips in the training there, and I've been sort of scanning the training videos and pictures this week. But I don't expect either of those to start against Newcastle. And he was questioned on Gomez, who's settled in. He said, "Is he available?" And Pep said, "Yep, he's available for selection." Again, I don't think he'll be playing against Newcastle. And of course, he was asked about what effect Eddie Howe and Newcastle, what effect he's had on them, and he said it was clear to be seen, obviously, from where they started when he joined them last season to where they finished. It's an obvious uphill, isn't it? They did very, very well. Interesting, yeah. I might have got 2 and 2 and made 5 with this one. When he was asked about the trip to Barca, and he said, "Well, it's a good way of the team to be all together for a few days," blah blah blah, just to to try and understand why we're sort of risking going over there and getting a flight over and a flight back, etc. But he sort of was on about the team for Barca and based on the Newcastle team, and he was implying obviously guys who haven't had minutes in the legs will be playing against Barcelona, but also guys who played against Newcastle. He did mention John in. I'm sure he said John in that, so I may have misunderstood it. It was like a throwaway thing when he was chatting, or he might have booed, implying that John Stones perhaps might be playing against Newcastle. But anyway, I'm thinking I've misread it. So when you come to my starting 11, I've not included it. But don't be surprised. Don't be surprised, guys, if Stones makes a feature against Newcastle based on what my perception of it was anyway. So here we go. So decisions on the team after, of course, I do this little feature after every game in the talking points, and then I sort of analyse it a few days later when we look forward to the next game, of course. So, yeah, let's talk Bournemouth and Newcastle. Let's talk what the team that played against Bournemouth. Let's talk what he's going to play against Newcastle. I think the only player taken off against Bournemouth that caused a little bit of consternation, of course, was Foden. Personally, I thought he was struggling with the heat. Some people said he was taken off because he didn't pass to Haaland in that early chance. But I think Pep claimed it was a tactical, so who are we to really argue with that? Pep simply said it was a tactical change at half-time. And with his 5 substitutes now, I know Pep doesn't make half-time substitutions, does he? But I think he's going to make use of it this season. Certainly when you're 3-0 up against Bournemouth, why not? I mean, it's, so I'm not going to read too much into that at all, and I'll just go with what Pep says. It was tactical. It was nice to see Stones getting some game time. As I said, Newcastle, big question mark on that one. But as I said, it won't be surprised. Well, I hope so, but it won't surprise me because I don't really want Aki to be obviously pushed out because he's our best. He's our best defender. He might come in for Diaz. You don't know. So I don't think anyone from that Bournemouth game was facing the chop. I think it was a great performance in horrible conditions, with the heat, etc. But 1 or 2 players did take knocks, which I commented on. But I have seen Aki back in training, so he looks okay. But I haven't seen Grealish. Now, Grealish took a knock. He sort of twisted his foot. But I've scanned 2 or 3 days of the training photos on the City site, and I've not spotted Grealish anymore. He's not the sort of guy to hide, is he, Grealish? He's the sort of guy you notice. So that's unusual. But having said that, I was a bit like that whether he'd start against Newcastle anyway. But let's say that Grealish might be just feeling the effects of twisting his foot a little bit. But Pep said a couple have got niggles. Perhaps Grealish is one of those that's got a niggle. So here we go. The back five, I think, is possibly still nailed on, despite the Stones palaver. So, and of course, if Aki's okay, which he seems to be, I've seen him training, so he might have just joined in the head tennis. I don't know, but he's certainly in the training anyway. So I think we're going to go Edison, Walker, Diaz, Aki, and Cancelo. So Stones would miss out again. But as I said, if Stones is in there, it's not going to surprise me. Obviously, Rodri, Phillips is back playing, but I don't think there's any chance Phillips is going to come in for this game. Rodri's going to start this game. There's no doubt about that. KDB is a definite shoot. I don't think he's going to be rested just yet at this stage of the season. And it really comes down to Gundogan or Silva. Of course, Silva's more or less, all right, he's not signed a new contract, but he's more or less now the vibes are positive that he's staying at City, isn't it? So it's perhaps not a little sword of Damocles hanging over us and hanging over Bernardo at the moment. But yeah, because Gundo started the last two games, which is odd. It's odd. I could say Bernardo was the main guy last season, and Gundo was a bit part player, and it's totally swapped around this season. Not that Gundo's let us down, of course. But will he get a hat-trick of starts? Who knows? But as I say, with Bernardo at the moment, I think things look a bit more positive. So I think we may see Bernardo back for this one and Gundo back on the bench. I don't think we can swap Gundo in any other position. He's certainly not going to play in Rodri's position or anything like that. Up front, yeah, quite a game for Haaland, of course, against his Cherries, although a good assist. But I fully expect him to start against Newcastle. Foden's a funny one, as I said. It was tactical, but Pep's Pep, isn't he? He may be rested, but I think this depends on Grealish and maybe Alvarez. Obviously, work rate wise, he might get a start Foden rather than one of those two guys. But I'm not convinced that Mahrez is going to be dropped. I thought Mahrez, a lot of people didn't think so. I watched it back. I watched it obviously at the Etihad, but then I watched it back. Mahrez played a lot better than I thought he did. He was excellent. So yeah, I think on the left, I think Grealish maybe, as I say, I've not seen him in training. There may be a little problem there that we're not overly sure about, a little niggle. So I think that leaves it open for Mr. Tactically Switched Foden to start this game. So to sum up, I think Pep is going to go strong. Of course, we're already 4 points ahead of Liverpool. We're nothing ahead of Arsenal and other challenges this season, but we've got to keep going with Liverpool playing Monday as well. So I don't think he's going to take any chances whatsoever on Tyneside. We need to rack up another 3 points with this one, which won't be easy. I mean, that fan, the crowd behind him, it's all the usual thing about the Geordies. But I don't think the 11 is going to change that much. But there may be one or two forced changes with niggles, or he might just change it slightly tactically for the physicality, perhaps more of Newcastle than we had against Bournemouth. But on that basis, my starting 11, if I don't get at least 9 of these, I'll be a little bit disappointed. There's a couple of question marks, a couple of players who might appear that I'll be quite happy to see as well. So I've got Edison, Walker, Diaz, Stones and Cancelo. Pretty good, isn't it? So I'll put Stones in there. So Aki's going to miss out because I think he might miss out, and I think I took a chance on Stones because of what he said, but I might be totally wrong about Aki. Because Aki's unfortunate to miss out, but I think the only reason Aki would miss out is if he's feeling just a little bit from that Bournemouth game. So I took a chance on that one. So there's one of the ones I might get wrong. I don't think Rodri, KDB and Bernardo. I mean, Bernardo could be Gundogan, so there's another one I could get wrong. So that's already down to 9. And Foden, Haaland and Mahrez. Now I could get 2 or 3, get 2 out of 3 of those wrong. I think Haaland's nailed on, but Foden and Mahrez. So yeah, let's say 8. If I get 8 right, I'll be happy. But hoping to get at least 9 or 10 of those right. Edison, Walker, Diaz, Stones, Cancelo, Rodri, KDB, Bernardo. It was Gundogan, but not the last couple of days. It's now swapped to Bernardo. When I did my little team earlier in the week, about a couple of days ago, it was Gundogan, but now that's changed to Bernardo, Foden, Haaland, and Mahrez. As I said, both teams are yet to score, but I don't expect. Yet to concede a goal this season, not score. But I don't expect that to last. I expect a City 2 or 3-0, pushing it to a 3-1 if need be. But if we can find a way past Pope and he doesn't growing confidence as the game goes on. I mean, how many times have keepers had great games against us? Let's hope we can get one early and knock his confidence. Who's in charge? Oh, Mr. Gillet is in charge. Jerry Gillet will take charge of proceedings. I get all French when Mr. Gillet's in charge, or Gillet, St. James's. The 35-year-old, yeah, he's only a young bloke, isn't he? He's refereed only one game so far this season, a 2-2 draw between Leicester and Brentford. And last season, he was in charge of 22 matches, showing 57 yellow cards and 5 red cards, so just under 3 a game. And his last match involving City was in February when we beat Fulham 4-1 in the 4th round of the FA Cup. And he didn't give any cards to City players, so let's hope that works out this time. His linos, Lee Betts, Ian Hussin, Stockley Park on the old VAR. We got again for the second game running, Peter Bonks. Mr. Peter Bonks is on VAR. I'm making the coffee for him. Is Marc Perry. So there you go, guys. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your starting 11 and anything. As I say, there's certainly 2 or 3 little niggly things in my mind, and my niggly injuries that obviously with that team. But I think we're fairly sure Pep's going to play his best possible team available at the moment. And then obviously the trip to Barcelona in midweek, he will give certain other players who've not had a chance yet. So you expect to see players like Phillips and Palmer, etc., starting against Barcelona, of course. So do that. And please, I will hope to get the player ratings out on Sunday evening after the game, and I'll get the talking points out possibly Monday. It could be Tuesday, because the whole point of talking points is to sort of look back and think back and see what difference after 24, 48 hours to the thoughts of it. And please join me again Monday night as well. So obviously after the game on Monday night, we'll chat about the game on Citizen Channel Live on Monday night, 7 p.m. There'll be a link there over the weekend, so you can push the notifications so you know when that's on. Have a bit of fun. We try and have a bit. It runs for about an hour. We have a bit of a laugh and a bit of fun on the Citizen Live channel. So if you can join me, that'd be great. Let me know your comments, guys. Let me know your thoughts. Till we meet again, I only ask one thing, don't I? Please stay safe, Blues. Come on, City. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.